Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Knoll, and for our health challenge project, I gave up all added sugars. And I was inspired to do this because I noticed that after I ate a meal or a snack or anything, I felt like I needed something sweet after, and I realized this probably isn't the best thing for me to be doing all of my life. And then I also did this because I just wanted to be aware of all the sugars that I eat in my everyday life because I never really noticed how many sugars, like grams of sugar, were in just the normal things I eat every day until this class. So, for this intro video, we have to have two sources that describe why this behavior is adverse to our health and or how our health can be improved as a result of completing this challenge. So, I just have the two sources up on my computer, and I'm going to go through them and some of the main things that stood out to me from each of the sites. So this first one is from CNN, and it's what happens to your brain when you give up sugar. And the first thing that I found interesting was this first part is just talking about how our brains feel like we need sugar after we start eating it. And down here, it says that a decade ago, it was estimated that the average American consumes 22 teaspoons of added sugar per day. And then a few months ago, it went up drastically and said that the average Briton, I don't know why it's going to British people, but consumes 238 teaspoons of sugar each week. So, I just thought that was interesting how much it's risen. And then it talks about kind of how I was saying how basically everything has added sugars or flavors or preservatives or something, and they kind of just sneak it into our food so that we don't know. Next, it starts talking about how sugar is addictive, and I kind of thought this was interesting because it relates to the worksheet we just did on addiction in class. And this one talks about how they did experiments on rats, and they said that the rats are deprived of food for 12 hours each day, then giving 12 hours of access to a sugary solution, and then food for them. And after a month, it said that they started to show signs of anxiety and depression during the food deprivation periods, and then it was seen that it kind of displayed similar behaviors to those on drugs, and they later did a experiment on the rats and exposed them to drugs such as cocaine and opiates, and the results from this trial kind of were the same as sugar, showing how similar the addictiveness of the two are. And then this section just talks about the withdrawal and how the withdrawal from sugar is just as real as the withdrawal from drugs. And they did that on the rats as well. And then down here, it's kind of just the end of how, summing up how there's been a ton of people who have given up the sugar, and it's a lot harder than people think, so I'm interested to see how it'll go for me. The next website is from The Telegraph, which is a English Britain, website, and this one I kind of felt like I could relate more to, and it's about the benefits of giving up sugar, just more general than how it affects your brain. This article says that the average Briton gets 140 teaspoons worth of sugar each week, more than 3 times the recommended amount, and I'm guessing that's higher for Americans. And then it just goes through a few of the health benefits of giving up sugar. So the first one is that you'll probably lose weight, and I think that's kind of just the obvious one that we can all expect from cutting out sweets and sugars from our life. Next one is your heart will be healthier, and I don't really relate to this first one because this first paragraph right here, because I don't drink pop, but the second one just can relate to everyone, that cutting out sugar can decrease the risk of cardiovascular disease. No more energy slumps, I thought would benefit me a lot because I'm pretty much tired all of the time and don't get enough sleep, so I feel like this is something that could just help me out a little bit. You'll be less at risk for cancer. This is just saying how like sugar doesn't directly cause cancer, but it causes obesity, and this point was interesting, that being overweight or obese increases the risk of 13 different types of cancer. So that would be good just for everyone. Next it talks about tooth decay and how we know that sugar causes cavities and stuff, but I just naturally have weak teeth, so I feel like cutting out sugar in the long run would be good for me. Next we have how sugar could make our thinking clearer if you cut it out, and this is just something that would probably be good for me going into college, being able to think clearer, everything's new. And then lastly is the point about how your immune system could be stronger, and I have a really weak immune system. I'm always getting sick because I bite my nails, and this is just something I feel like that could help me a little bit with that. So, to wrap this up, I just hope that this project, I can feel a change from cutting out sugar, and that it'll be something that I'll want to continue even after we're done with this project.